This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Lisa Hanna calls for info in murder of St. Anne community stalwart. Member of Parliament for St. Anne Southeastern, Lisa Hanna, is urging individuals to provide information leading to the arrest of the killer or killers of Oakley Atkinson Price in Fort George in her constituency on Thursday. The mutilated body of the 55-year-old community stalwart was found naked, lying face down in blood on the floor of her house. In a Facebook post on Friday, Hanna said she was devastated by the killing of Atkinson Price, while declaring that the scourge of criminality must stop. I am devastated and still trying to come to grips with the heinous and the brutal murder of Mrs. Oakley Atkinson Price, Miss Mama from Fort George last night, wrote Hanna. We all knew this Christian lady, and I just keep asking why. Why do what you did to her? Why allow her to try to fight for her life? Why at this stage of her life? Why embarrass her divinity and dignity as a woman? Why? Questioned the beauty queen turned parliamentarian. Hanna said she grieved the woman's family as well as her community, the wider constituency, and the rest of Jamaica as we wrestle with the monsters who murdered the innocent. If anyone knows anything about last night, I beg and urge you to give the information to the police, pleaded Hanna, adding that this scourge must stop. Residents of Fort George said Atkinson Price was staying alone at her home in the unusually peaceful community because the son who lived with her is now abroad on the farm work program. No house is located near hers. The front grille of her concrete dwelling was found locked, fueling speculation that the killer perhaps gained entry through the back door. The Jamaica Constabulary Forces officers, who are still investigating, were at the crime scene up to late Thursday night. They confirmed the murder and the victim's identity, but said they did not have the details readily available. Plumber at Savannah Larmar Hospital dies from COVID-19. Staff at the Savannah Larmar Public General Hospital have been plunged into mourning for the second time in a week following the death of another worker from their ranks. 34-year-old David Simpson, a plumber from the maintenance department, reportedly lost his battle with COVID-19 on Thursday night. I can confirm sadly at this time that we lost another loving member of the maintenance department. He was transferred to the University Hospital of the West Indies earlier this week, said Eric Clark, chairman of the Western Regional Health Authority. Simpson was first admitted to the hospital where he worked last week Wednesday, but his condition worsened. We regret his passing, and I do reach out to his family and the staff as well, because it is very hard during this time when we have this loss, added a subdued Clark, who said a retired porter from the hospital had also lost his battle with COVID-19. It is not a good day for us, Clark told the news. Hospital staff were left reeling after 37-year-old Deidre Davis Cunningham, who led the nursing team at the hospital's heavily trafficked accident and emergency unit, died at Cornwall Regional Hospital on Monday night. She was the second nurse known to have died from COVID-19 in August. 40-year-old Annette White-Best, who worked on the front lines at the Percy Junior Hospital in Manchester, died on August 10. NCU Vice President Dr. Newton Cleghorn dies from COVID-19 complications. The Mandeville-based Northern Caribbean University has been plunged into mourning following the passing of one of its vice presidents, Dr. Newton Cleghorn. Dr. Cleghorn served as vice president of the student services at the Seventh-day Adventist institution. An NCU spokesperson confirmed that Dr. Cleghorn passed away early Friday morning. He died at age 67, reportedly of complications associated with COVID-19. He was an ordained minister of the Seventh-day Adventist Church with over 4 decades of service to the church. Scores of students, staff, and members of the church have taken to social media to express their disbelief and to mourn the passing of Dr. Cleghorn. President-elect of Guidance Counselors Association has died. The education fraternity is in deep grief following Thursday's passing of Arlene Wellington, the president-elect of the Jamaica Association of Guidance Counselors in Education. Wellington was also the guidance counselor at the Port Antonio Primary School in Portland. She is reported to have fallen ill sometime between Wednesday and Thursday. President of the Jamaica Association of Guidance Counselors in Education, Winston Nathan, told the news that the passing has shocked the group. Wellington joined the staff at the Port Antonio Primary in 2015. She was the kind of person who went beyond the call of duty to get things done, said colleague Loris Janet Wilkes. She was a true leader and was very determined to get the job done, irrespective of the challenges and the shortage of resources. She tends to put her situation on the back burner just to help and guarantee success. Another shipment of medical oxygen reaches Jamaica. Another shipment of medical oxygen arrived in Jamaica on Thursday afternoon. However, IGL, Jamaica's sole supplier of the commodity, says it is still concerned about the rapid increase in demand for the life-saving gas. The company said regularity of imports remains a risk given global supply chain disruptions. Female bartender killed in St. Ann home invasion. 24-year-old Shanique Haynes, otherwise called Shan, a bartender of Lewis District in St. Ann, was shot and killed at her house last night. The police report that about 9:20 p.m., Haynes and the members of her family were at home when armed men entered the premises and opened gunfire, hitting her. They then escaped. The police were summoned, and on their arrival, Haynes was seen with multiple gunshot wounds. She was taken to the hospital where she was pronounced dead. NWC warns against chemical spills in Rio Cobre. President of the National Water Commission, Mark Barnett, is urging mining interests to be mindful of chemical spills into the Rio Cobre in St. Catherine. He stated that there are still signs of chemical spills in the river, which poses a challenge for supplying 50,000 customers in the Spanish Town area with water. He made the disclosure during a virtual quarterly press briefing on Thursday. Barnett stated that the $6.5 million water treatment plant located in Job Lane, Spanish Town, primarily relies on water from the Rio Cobre. Against that backdrop, he said, once chemical spills occur and raise the potential of hydrogen in the water, it poses a threat of rendering the plant inoperable. We are not saying that persons cannot mine. What we're saying is that adequate environmental consideration must be put in place to mitigate and to prevent these types of recurrence, he noted. Barnett also said that the NWC is working closely with the National Environment and Planning Agency to ensure the necessary precautions are in place to manage the spills. PNP wants Tufton out. The opposition People's National Party, PNP, yesterday threw the blame of COVID-19 crisis being experienced by the country at the feet of the Health Minister, Dr. Christopher Tufton, and called for his sacking. The Minister of Health must be held accountable for the poor management of the pandemic, which has caused the loss of life of scores of loved ones. Many of the lives lost over the weekend could have been prevented, the PNP said in a statement. In light of the discord in the public domain regarding the procurement of oxygen, the Ministry of Health is the office with responsibility for ensuring that sufficient supplies are available for our hospitals. Ultimately, the Minister of Health has failed. We cannot continue to accept failure after failure at the detriment of our citizens. The minister must resign. It is in the best interest of the country that Minister Tufton be removed from this portfolio for his repeated failures and inability to effectively perform the duties of his office. The people of Jamaica deserve better. They deserve a chance at life, a PNP release said. According to the PNP, 18 months after the first COVID-19 cases was reported, the country is still without a proper COVID-19 management plan, claiming that during the third and most deadly wave of the pandemic, the Ministry of Health and Wellness failed to meet the needs of hospitals and clinics island-wide. Though not the first case of poor planning, the most recent oxygen shortage demonstrated that the Ministry of Health and by extension the government is failing and has failed to exercise the duty of care owed to the people of Jamaica and our dedicated healthcare workers, said the PNP. The opposition party claimed that recommendations for fever clinics, home and early COVID management protocols have fallen on deaf ears, which it said led to a number of people being unable to access healthcare for non-COVID-19 conditions. The government must take responsibility for the result of their mishandling of the pandemic, said the PNP. 735 new COVID cases, 17 deaths reported. Jamaica recorded 735 new COVID-19 cases over a 24-hour period up to Thursday afternoon, according to the Ministry of Health and Wellness. At the same time, 17 additional COVID-19 deaths were tallied over the period August 17 to 31 and recorded on Thursday, bringing the overall coronavirus death toll in Jamaica to 1,585. A 25-year-old female from St. James, a 31-year-old female from Portland, and a 65-year-old male from Hanover are among the latest COVID fatalities. The separate deaths of 4 COVID-19 patients are under investigation by the Health Ministry. There are also 87 recoveries on the day, bringing the overall tally to 48,580. The newly confirmed COVID-19 cases brought the total number on record for the island to 69,789. Notably, Jamaica recorded a positivity rate of 41.4% based on the samples that were tested on Thursday. Of the newly confirmed cases, 397 are females and 338 are males, with ages ranging from 12 days to 93 years. The cases were recorded as follows: Kingston and St. Andrew 129, St. Anne 126, Manchester 106, St. Catherine 106, St. James 70, Clarendon 61, Westmoreland 35, Trelawney 35, Hanover 22, St. Mary 17, St. Thomas 14, St. Elizabeth 7, and Portland 6. There are 199 moderately ill patients, 121 severely ill patients, and 51 critically ill patients among the 19,187 active cases now under observation in Jamaica. A total of 728 COVID-19 patients are now hospitalized locally. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.